Hey everybody, Bridget Lynn Dolgoff, Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project. Anyway, in the White Buffalo Steel Woman, and we just came to the park, and so that we could go for a swim in the river, and because that's Jin's favorite thing to do. So it might be a little bit of background noise, like that. Anyway, so I kind of want to talk about like the camp out, kind of like, some things I didn't talk about the camp out. Number one, I always do my prayers before I'm going somewhere. I've talked about this before. So when I was getting ready to pack up for my herbal camp out, and I went to storage, I wanted to take this big jar so that I could make some tea or whatever else, camping herbal tea, because you can pick stuff and make a tea out of it. Well, anyway, right when I was getting ready to put it in the car out of storage, it just felt like somebody slapped it out of my hands, and it hit the ground and it shattered into tons of pieces. And I've learned enough to know that for me that's a good thing, because it's shattering some old energy, breaking up energy, and it's better if that happens than my body or my car. So I'd much rather have energy shatter. And the fact that it started out that way was a good sign to me, because there was obviously a lot of energy that actually needed to be cleaned up, and so it was already starting to be cleaned, and I wasn't going to take the brunt. So then when I went on the trip, I borrowed a car, and it decided it was going to radically overheat on like a horrible rocky dirt road. And it took about 2 hours for it to fully cool. But I did make it to the camp. And just the message of just slowing down and not worrying or getting stressed out. And that, just relax. So that's what I did. I didn't stress out. I just kind of relaxed and just let it play out. And the universe sent me like 6 people down that road, like out in the middle of nowhere. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no phone, there's zero. You're by yourself, and pretty treacherous roads. But I was in the 4-wheel drive Subaru, so that helped out a lot. Anyway, I finally make it up there. I get the last camp available in all these campgrounds. How, I realize when I do my prayers that they work everything out for me. So I just have to relax and not increase the stress by projecting, fear onto it. And, the thing is, like my teacher said, it is what it is, and it's going to be what it's going to be. The only option that we have is to be present and behave appropriately. And if, a Tyrannosaurus Rex isn't trying to eat you, then there's no reason to get overly stressed out and panic. So, and then, the camp out went pretty good. And then the really heavy part, so the day before I was leaving, I was a little bit nervous because the Sub, I left the key on, and so the battery went dead. So from the people in my camp, I had to get it jumped and started, and I let it run and turned it on, let it run again, turned it on. So I was pretty sure the next morning it was going to start up. And then there was some really crazy energy that came after all the people in my group left that evening, on the Sunday. That night, like some of the craziest, extremely crazy kids were brought into the campground right next to me, and I was trying to sleep because I was exhausted. I'd been up there since Thursday. The glass shattered Thursday morning, getting everything packed up, and then getting up there, and the car overheated on the way up on a hill like this with total rocks and ravine. So, and we were just really busy for school as well, so it was a pretty extreme weekend. Good, but a lot of interesting things that were happening. And then these crazy kids came in this camp. I think it was some kind of like summer camp thing. And I don't think the kids were disabled, but it was like they were like wild animals that escaped a zoo in captivity. And I'm serious, I was shocked. And I was also shocked by the 4 men who were helping them and handling them. And there was no woman. And so I really had to keep my nose out of it, even though everything about that situation was wrong, 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 wrong. I mean, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. So I had to just do my spiritual work because I was tired and cranky, and just kind of back off and just get some sleep. And then it was quiet the next morning, so I did a video on packing up. And then got in the car, left, ended up going on the wrong turn. I was on the right road, but the wrong way. And I went through some crazy ass boony bouncing terrain in which the car did not overheat, which I was so shocked about. And a road that I shouldn't have even been on. I remember these 2 guys pulled up, and I'm like, where am I at? I mean, how do I get back to, where I'm supposed to be? Like, they're like, oh, did you drive through all of that? I was like, what do you think, I flew? And they were like, wow, in this Subaru car. And I said, yeah. I said, once I get back home, I'm going to go have some whiskey, because it has been a crazy afternoon. I was lost for 2 hours on these crazy bumpy roads, washed out roads. Just at one point I got out of the car because my teacher was talking about St. John's wort, tons of St. John's wort. I wanted to pick it anyway. I needed some for my apothecary for my clients, and it turned out to be strong medicine, boy. Woo. And as soon as I started tincturing it, it was red like blood. So it's going to be some good, strong medicine. And so I picked a whole bunch and collected it because I just had to get out of the car. I just really felt like I was going to have a massive panic attack. And I hit this wall of, I didn't want to have to, I turned around to go back. They said, go back. And then I just kind of was overwhelmed. And I just felt like, yeah, this is just not going to really go really well. And I have a lot of anxiety now, and I was just trying to like hold it together. And so I decided to get out of the car. My teacher had talked about how in old times, they would use mugwort and St. John's wort. And St. John's wort for protection, for like dreaming and medicine work and spiritual stuff. And so I thought, okay, it's a really good time to get out and pick this St. John's wort, because there was a whole bunch of it. It was on the main road. I can kind of park on the crazy road, and then get it all picked. And then I felt like, okay, I'd have some protection, and I felt better, actually. So I got in the car, and come on, Jen, up. Come on, sweetie, up. Come on up. Anyway, I got in the car, and it was just kind of crazy, the road back, and I could just feel all this tightness, in my solar plexus. And the people that came to lead the sweat, the native couple, beautiful couple. And there was, in the 3rd round, they had a grief song. And I was doing the attending, helping them with what they needed on the outside, getting their water, things like that. And that song hit me while I was driving, and I just broke down and had like a total, like 20-minute, like hardcore hailstorm, emotional hailstorm, kind of a serious nervous breakdown. And I realized, like, there have been so many things that have happened to me, and that, I just, for years, have just been putting out one fire after another. All my family members dying, having brain cancer, trying to, get in school programs, trying to walk a good road, trying to, work on all my stuff, being in relationships and having a boyfriend that I loved more than anything, that was trying to murder me, because I left him because he started to become abusive. I mean, it was like, one thing after another. My business partner got murdered. The bad guys stole all my money, all my investments, left me totally broke. And because I had taken care of everybody else and helped them, nobody would give me a couch to sleep on. And, been homeless since like 2006. I mean, it just, years and years and years, it just went on and on and on. And you just have to kind of hold yourself together, because you're not going to be able to keep moving forward, dragging it forward. That's kind of like what it feels like. You keep packing it and dragging it, packing it and dragging it, packing and dragging it, without relief. And so I just had like this major, major nervous breakdown. And I just realized like how much grief that I have hold on to. And I really got that it's a lot of the reason why, like, I do all the right stuff, but I'm really having a hard time trying to lose weight, is because I'm retaining so much water, which is emotion. So I've been really doing a lot of work around my solar plexus and getting back to doing some of my energy practices. And I had some big, huge releases in my ribs and my spine and my solar plexus on this side. So that's a pretty good indication that, that stuff is finally starting to release, because I had to hold it in there. So I actually feel like I have so much more energy than I've had in probably like 20 years. And I just feel super good. And I just have been feeling really connected, and really trying to stay out of, drama, and just really trying to focus in on, like, how do I feel right now? What am I sensing right now? Where am I at right now? What do I need right now? Do I need some water? Do I need a snack? And then just slowly moving through the processes and keeping up with the day, whatever comes, moment by moment. But anyway, the most amazing thing is like, once I finally let go. So these guys told me it was 10 miles back on the most horrible road that I should have never, number one, even been driving on. Number two, driving a Subaru on. And that it was 10 miles back. And I'll tell you what, either I had a nervous breakdown for, 2 hours going back, or they moved the time forward as soon as I got through the nervous breakdown. And that's what it felt like. And then all of a sudden there was this paved road, and I was like, wow, you mean I get to bypass that whole treacherous road that I drove up here on? How does that happen? Like, where am I? Well, obviously they put me in the right place at the right time. I did the work, and they made it easy on me. And people can say, whatever they want about that, but I don't think I had a nervous breakdown for 2 hours driving back through it. But I think I wasn't on a level going to torture myself on that road. And so I just did the work. I released the work that's causing a lot of what's going on around me energetically. and I was put on the paved road. And it was interesting because the brakes were smoking a little bit on the front end because that road was so bad. So I had to get out and let the smoke clear. But I thought about that. I thought about, you know, how much in the last, 20 years I've pack, drag, brake, pack, drag, brake, pack, drag, brake, And I just said, that's it. Like, just it's just not going to happen anymore. I'm moving forward, and things are going to start going really fantastic, and I'm just going to spend a lot more time doing exactly what I want to do without apology, or dealing with other people and their stuff. And then I got on the road and I came back and got everything unloaded and unpacked, and I just really felt really good. And like I said, last night, in the middle of the night, that huge release in the middle of my back, huge release, probably like 2 ribs and a vertebrae and all the muscles that were around it. And it was right in my solar plexus. And it was like once it left, I just felt unrestrained. So the braking and the packing and the dragging is over, and moving forward. So anyway, yeah, it was a big deal because that spot in my back has been an area that the brain tumor really affected because of the nerve damage, and has caused me so much problems back there, and nothing was working on it. Everything I threw at it. So doing the big emotional release, it released it, and now it's my job. I've got to keep it open. I've got to keep it stretched out. I've got to keep it, aligning, because now around it, the lower part and the upper part of the spine are going to want to unravel a little bit. So I'm going to have to breathe and open, breathe and open, breathe and open, and keep it all open. But anyway, that's it. Bridget Lynn Dolgoff, Conscious of Economics. Hope you're having a great day.